Hey guys, my name is Michael and today I'll be walking you through week 2 at Shepherd SQL Injection. So for this week, we're going to be trying to inject malicious code into our backend database. So for that, we're going to mostly use a Boolean operator OR and a true statement like 1 equals 1. So if you haven't taken a database course yet, an SQL statement usually looks like something like select, right? Something, so we don't know what, from some table where something. So those are the parameters. Oh, that's the query basically. And the parameters, so for example, in this case, we're trying to look up username, right? It would most likely be over here. It would be username, something like that, equals, and then it would be like this. It would either be single quote or double quote. It could be either. And it would run the command, and let's say we write Mike, right? It would search for Mike in some database and some table, and it'll select certain attributes or columns that have the username of Mike. So now that we know that, we can go over here and it tells us to use a Boolean operator OR and 1 equals 1. So if we go over here and we type in another double quote and then we type in OR and then we type in another double quote 1 equals 1, now this query is going to go into their database and it's going to look for a username that's empty or 1 equals 1. And 1's always equals 1, so you could also write true. This should technically work depending on the implementation, but in this case it will return everything in our database. So if we just if we take this line of code and we type it into our query, that's basically going to return everything. So it could also be either double quote or single quote. So let's start off this problem, and we'll start off by checking which one it is. So let's try a double quote, right? And it says no results found, no row returned. Okay, let's try a single quote. So an error was detected. That's good. That's good for us to see, bad for the developer, whoever created this website. So let's do exactly what we just did. So we'll type in OR, another quote, 1 equals 1, and we'll get the user. Here we go. So it returns everything in the database, and we get our result key. So just to iterate what happened, let's go back to the editor, and this is the query, right? And our input goes in here in the middle of the single quotes, right? If we paste in our query that we just typed in here, we can see that the OR is now an actual like keyword, like it's blue, and it's actually gonna run as some code. And 1 equals 1 is always true, and that's why it returns everything. Let's move on to the next question. So same thing, we check what quotes are they using? Are they using single or double? So we'll try with single. So there was no results found. Let's try double, and we see that there's an error. So that's good. So now we try the same thing. We type in OR double 1 equals 1, and it works. Let's move on to the next one. So in this case, we want an email. So let's just try something random. Let's try single. Actually, that didn't work. Let's try double. That didn't work because it should be an actual email. So for that to happen, you can go and look up on Wikipedia the formats an email can actually take, because there are lots of formats that can be an email. There's lots of rules for that, but let's start off with t dot so it's gonna be like something at t.com, right? So this is an email, but it went through, but there were no results found. So let's elaborate on this. Let's add a quote. So we see now it went through and it is using a single quote. So we can work on that again. So let's type in or single quote 1 equals 1. See if that works. Here we go. So next question. So here they're kind of giving you a hint. So SQL Injection Escaping challenge. So let's try single. So that didn't work. Let's try double. That also didn't work. So this means that they're changing the inputs on how we're escaping it. So let's, in SQL, we can write a backslash to escape it. So let's try it. So this way, when you type in a backslash, let's go back to the editor. Right? So when we're typing something in for, let's say, a double quote, right? We just typed in this double quote. What they're doing is they're adding a backslash before it, and this cancels it out. So why don't we do the same thing to do that? So we did a double quote. Let's try a single quote. Single quote worked. Okay. So let's continue. Or so we can't use a single quote because we know that's being escaped. Let's see if they're escaping a double quote, right? And if we do this, then let's paste it back into our editor right here. So it's like that. So we're reading username equals, or in this case, customer ID, right? So we'll just write ID equals backslash, or 1 equals 1, but we have an extra quote at the end. So to get rid of this, we can actually put a comment. So we put a £sign or a hashtag. It comments out everything that's after it. So let's try this. Get user. Here we go. So this one, they're giving us a little hint. They're telling us we want the credit card of Mary, right? So we can look her up and we get her name, but we don't get any more information other than that. So in SQL, there's something called union. What union does, it adds on to the query, so you can stack different tables together and return a bunch of information. So we can use union, and you guys should stop right here, pause the video, go play around with it and try to figure it out, see what works, look up some tutorials online, and you'll figure out that we can do this. We can write union select, and we're selecting something. So we want a credit card number, and we could only return one thing because it's only showing us one column, so we can only add on one column. So let's add on credit card number, right? And we're gonna get it from, they gave us kind of a hint, so they also highlighted it. So credit card number from one of the customers, and customers is usually in the customers table, where, and they gave us another hint, customer name. So it's actually where capitalization doesn't actually matter, just makes it look better, I guess, more readable. And then we go to customer name, and we set the name to Mary Martin, right? And then we don't know what's next, so we can put a £sign and comment out everything that's after it. So we can get user, and here we go. We get her credit card number. So for SQL injection number 4, it's a stretch challenge, which means it should be a little bit harder than before. So let's start off with testing out. Single quote doesn't work, double quote doesn't work. So we know they're escaping it somehow. Let's try to escape it. Doesn't work. Okay, this worked, and they also give us a little hint of what's happening. So we see that there's an and password part. So let's go back to our SQL editor, and we'll paste that in and try to figure it out. So what we did just now, we put a backslash single quote. Let's put it back in here, backslash single quote, and you see we freed up the ability to type code into here. So we can do something like or, but it shouldn't work really, it wouldn't work too well. But what if we do this? If we do that, we eliminate the and user password part over here. And we can start working our way over here on this end. So we can start typing in over here that actually code that actually runs. So let's say, let's do or, right? 1 equals 1, and user name equals, let's do admin, right? And we'll remove that quote at the very end. And if we go and try this, it should actually, let's add this over here. So if we go ahead and try to run this as our password, it should technically work. So let's do a backslash over here, type that into our password. Here we go, signed in as admin. Great. Let's move on to the next one. So this one's a little trickier. So we have a coupon code right here, and we want to submit it to get troll memes for free. Okay, but we only have a please take a rage and a rage me for free. And you can try all sorts of things over here, but you're slowly going to figure out that this is not the way to try to inject it and figure it out. Like, it doesn't work over here. Let's see, let's try this. So it doesn't work. This entry is not injectable. So let's inspect element, and we'll look at the code. So we see that there's a form over here, and we see that there's a script. The script goes somewhere, so we're getting some script from somewhere, some coupon check.js. So if we actually follow this link or this link, we actually find it's a coupon check.js. We actually end up over here. So it's codepath.com/challenges, and here's the coupon check.js. So we end up here, and this is unreadable, I guess, from my perspective. So we can copy that, and we'll go over to a tool called nice.js or JSNice, right? And we'll just paste it in, and we'll say nicify. And here we get a little sneak peek of the code. It's still a little unreadable, but now it's a lot better than before. So now we can try to figure out what's happening. We see that there's something called a coupon check, and there's something called a VIP coupon check. So this seems interesting. It also has VIP coupon code. So I think we're going to try to attack that VIP coupon code. Okay, so we'll select that. We'll go back here, and let's type something in here like hello, right? We'll place an order, and we'll go to burp. We'll check the request, and we see that we're posting to some URL right here. But what if we change it to the URL that we found in the JS code. Okay, so let's go back here and go to burp, and we'll send it over to the repeater, and then we'll post to this link right here. And then from there, let's see if we can get any more clues. We see that the data that we're posting in is coupon code. So we're gonna try to inject that. So let's go to burp again and delete everything but coupon code. All right, let's try that. So no coupon found. Okay, so we got the right address and we're in the right track. Let's try single quote. Check failed. Okay, double quote. No coupon found, so we know it's a single quote. And let's just do our simple injection. 1 = 1. Okay, we got something. We got valid coupon for 100% off troll items. So, we can play around with this, and you guys should stop right here, play around with it. But I want to introduce you to a tool, a very useful tool. So we can, let's see, let's write hello, right? And we'll right click on burp and we'll copy to file. Okay, we'll copy to file and then we'll save it as, let's say, troll meme for free. Okay, so we'll save that and we'll go to terminal. Over here, and then we'll go to that, and then we'll run SQL map. So SQL map is a very useful tool that we can use to help us inject SQL code into a website. So what we're going to use is we're going to do SQL map -r, and then we're going to type in that file that we made. So was it troll meme for free, right? And we're just gonna hit enter and let it run. So it's gonna start. It's gonna ask you a few questions. Just click yes, and here it found out that the parameter coupon code is injectable, right? So after this, we can do this. We can do the same command, but we add on --dbs. It's going to run, ask you a few questions, continue, and it's going to find out the available databases. So we see that there's information _ schema, and there's SQL IC5 shop. So I think I'm interested in the shop part. So we'll go back, we'll do this, and we'll say dump tables -d, and then we'll type in the name of the table that we want. So SQL IC5 shop. I will press enter. So again, it's going to ask a few questions. Make it full screen. Alright. And it's going to return everything that's in the database. So we see that there's a table called VIP coupons, and we get the coupon, and this is the coupon. So now all you have to do is just decode this part that's in here, and these two things, and then that's your coupon code. Easy as that. Great tool to use. So for this question, we can try using the same tool, SQL map. So let's find a customer's name. Let's write Mike. Right. So no results found. We can go to burp. We go to the post request. Whoops. we go to burp, we send it over to the repeater, and we can save it as a file. All right, copy to file, and we'll name it as, let's see, inject start procedures. All right, we'll save it. We can open up terminal again. And then we'll run SQL map again. Right, same process before, -r, inject sp, right, and we'll press enter. So answer these questions. Here we go. It says that it's good. It found a parameter called user identity that is injectable, and it shows us what it used for this injection. So it made it sleep right here. So it means that we're on a good track. We're on the right track. So let's do --dbs. Continue, and we get that there's a database called information_schema and SQL chal stored proc. So we're going to use the last one, the bottom one, and we're going to do --dump tables -d, and we're going to type in SQL chal stored proc. Click enter, and click yes, yes, and we'll click no and no. Okay, so we get everything back, and we see the customer ID, we see the comment, customer name, customer address. So from here we also can see that the comment is result key, and this is basically the answer. Okay, so for SQL injection challenge number 6, we have to try to find Brandon's answer to a security question, right? And we can try to get his authentication number by typing in a PIN. So let's try 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so we're limited to four digits or characters. So let's run this query, right? And let's go check the request. So there's a post request. We send it to the repeater. And over here, it's useful because we can try to type in something more than four digits or characters in length. And it goes through, but our PIN number is incorrect. So you guys should pause the video right now and try to figure it out yourself. Find out what you have to do. So if you can't figure it out, come back. And if you've been trying to inject into here, so like single quote, double quote, trying to escape it somehow, it's probably not going to work. So the way you have to do it is you have to encode it, or yeah, you have to change it to hex. So for example, we can go over here and let's do single quote or single quote 1 = 1. So we'll try to encode that. So we copy the hex and we go back to burp, and we'll try to use our hex to inject. Let's run this. Okay, we get somewhere. So we get a welcome back, but we get the wrong person. So we don't want this guy. We want we want Brandon. Brandon's answer to a security question. So the first problem you guys should see is that we only got one response back. So they're actually limiting us with either a limit or something else. So you can't. I tried to escape it, but you can't. So you have to work with it. So let's go back to burp, and let's try something else. Let's try to figure out a way that we can get some information from the database. So we can do union. Let's do select Well, we want to try to get a table from the database that we can work with. So table name from information schema dot tables, right? So we do that, and we can close it off right now, right here, and let's try that. See if we can get anywhere. So we type that in. So we get a table back. You can see character sets. That's an actual table that's in the database. So from here, what you should do if you don't know where you're headed to. So I tried using offset. Offset didn't work for some reason. So another way that you can kind of brute force it, it's not very efficient, but if you want to know all the tables in the database, we could also add a few parameters. So we can do like where table name not like. So we don't actually want to see this table again because it's no use to us at this moment. We can go over here and say we want something that's not like that. So if we copy over this code again, put it in here, we should technically see a different table. So, okay, we got a different one. So we can move around and we can add this table back in here again. So like not like, right? And whoops. So we can try that. So now we're going to get a different one, and we can keep going with that until we find the useful table. We can also go a different way. We can try to find a table that might be like something we need. So if we delete these, we can try finding a table where table name equals, let's see, maybe user, right? So maybe we're looking for a user table. We can try that. So we can go here. So we don't get anything back, so maybe there's no user table. Let's try users table. Let's see, let's copy that over. Okay, we see users, so that's good. That means we have a users table. From there, we can move on and see, let's see, we get union select table name. We don't want table name anymore, we want column name. So column name from information schema tables, we want columns, where table name equals users. Okay, so this should technically return column name inside the users table. Here we go. So we get ID users. We can follow the same method and say where this and column name not like ID users. So this is going to return another column inside. So, whoops, made a mistake. Let's see where table name, misspelled column. Right. Let's go back. Try that again. Okay, so we get another column name called username, and we can keep doing that and find out all the tables, all the columns that we need. So to actually get the answer, we can do select user answer, right, from we know the table users, where we know username, and as username we're going to put Brandon, right? and then let's delete the rest. Okay, so we copy that, paste that in, and here you go. Welcome back, and that's his answer, and that's the answer to the problem. So let's go back and do SQL Injection 7. Okay, so for this one we need an email and a password. So let's start off by typing in email that works. So like test@email.com and some password. So incorrect password / username. So the email was good. Okay, we can use that to our advantage. So let's try double quotes, sign in. So incorrect password, email, okay, username. So let's see if we type in something that doesn't look like an email. So you see it says bad email address detected. So we're on the right track. We know this is a good email address and it works. So let's try to use our injection and we'll type in or 1 equals 1. Let's try that. Okay, so it doesn't work. Maybe we can try it like this. Sign in. That doesn't work also. Maybe we have to comment the rest out. Okay, so now we have to think outside the box. What can we do? So we have to play around with it and possibly figure something out. So why don't we try something like this? So in SQL, this means comment over here. Also, it can separate certain things. So for example, we can do this, then we can write or, and do the same thing, right? Then we can do 1 equals 1, and let's do it again, and then that. Let's see. Okay, I missed something. Okay, there we go. And that's how you do it. So as for the email, we have to have it in email format, and then we want to separate each individual entry. So like, for example, we want this separated from or. So to do that, we just add an empty comment, which provides us that space that we needed for the SQL injection. And the # comments out the rest. So this also would work, for example, if you put something in here like true. You don't necessarily have to do 1 equals 1. So using true would also work. Right? Thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment, and enjoy the rest of your day.